Yeah.
Right, good evening everybody to our second lockdown Q&A session. Thanks for joining us again, Milly. I believe you're going to ask the questions again, pal.
Yes, I've been lucky enough to get the questions emailed through by Lou. She's put it all together for us and got it all nailed down nicely. So I'll fire through some questions for you.
Yeah, we'll be as honest as like last time. We'll be as honest as we can. We'll give you our true thoughts where possible. Obviously, some things may be confidential and we can't delve too much into that. But as much as possible, we'll give you what we think, and hopefully you enjoy it. Here we go then.
Yeah, so there's some interesting ones. I think it's nice that there's a little bit of variety from last time round. They're not. I was a bit curious. I thought there might be one or two sort of a bit similar, but it seems like there's some good ones here. So I'll start off. Number one. Who has been the standout opposition player that has caught your eye this season? And if you could sign any player in our league, who would it be?
Wow. There'll be agents ringing me up at morning, won't there? I think there's been a variety, hasn't I'd like to think there's been a variety of players this year that I think have moved on. I went through defenders. I think we both like Millie, didn't we? The lad at Eastleigh, Atkinson, who got a move in January to the left footer at Eastleigh. We got a move in January to Oxford. I think he was a sort of standout defender because he could do a little bit of both, and I think he came through at Fulham's youth system, and you can see he had real quality in his play. These are off the top of my head, so there may be more if I think about this later on. Again, midfielders, Luke Coulson at Bromley. Again, I think we both liked him, didn't we, mate? Makes things happen. Good footballer. We've got a real good footballer within that respect. Couple of wingers. Akinchud, was he at Barnet? The left sider, David Akinchud. Was it Akintunde? Is Akinchud?
You've got some Sonder as well there, who's a good
lad. Is it Akintunde? It's the left sider, in it, the lad at Barnet. Who was excellent against us, and I thought was a really good player. There was another David Ajiboye as well, and at Sutton. We were fans of Ajiboye from Sutton. Centre forward wise, I mean, Inyefin Young at Dover was just an handful, horrible to play against, and what we'd like in a big centre forward, that sort of character. So off the top of my head, they're probably the players that have stood up that more. As we go on, I'm probably going to get like 4 questions down here, mate, and go, oh, he was a decent player, by the way. But if I'm peeling off the top of my head, I would certainly say them at a push. There you go, the right back on loan from Birmingham at Yeovil, Hutton. Thought he was a really good player, joined in well, strong. Yeah, I think he'll move up the levels next season. So hopefully there's a little snapshot of sort of players that we like this year. That does not mean, can I put a massive asterisk next to me, that does not mean that's who we're hunting in the summer. They're just people who caught our eye this year.
Number 2, how confident are you and the players going into the Boreham Wood game? And possibly Harrogate. We can't talk about that yet, but possibly Harrogate, with both games being away and behind closed doors.
Well, I'm only going to talk about Boreham Wood because that's our only focus. If we're lucky enough to get beyond that, then so be it. We have as good chance as anybody. The way the boys came back this morning has really solidified our thoughts in terms of how sharp they looked, how strong they looked, and how much they've done away from the football club, which is really pleasing. So I'm really confident we can give a good account of ourselves after watching them this morning, and that's only a snapshot, so don't get me wrong, but I think they've come back in a good place, physically and mentally. Going away from home, I don't think bothers us. We've had a better record away from home than we have at home this season, so that will stand us in good stead. And I say, back behind closed doors, I think it's a real leveller, and you've seen a lot of football recently where behind closed doors, it's not had the fans geeing teams up, it's not having a tackle goes in and that really revs people up. Players have had to go and find that sort of inner drive within these games to motivate themselves. We're not having the crowd to motivate them. So I think it'd be an interesting contest. If you look at a lot of games that have been won on set pieces or mistakes, I think they'll have a lot to do with the outcome of our game. But I'm really confident that, like I say, we'll give the best account of ourselves that we can. And if we have a little bit of luck along the way, then who knows where that could take us, and hopefully into a second game.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't agree more. Question number 3. Have you got a key player that you really want to sign for next season? And if so, how are the talks with other players going? And are you feeling positive about next season? So there's 3 in 1 there, really. Yeah. Any key players?
Yeah.
Anyone that you're in talks with? And are you feeling positive about next season?
Well, I think we've got to be fair to our own lads. First, obviously, with going into the playoffs in such a small squad, we were unable to discuss sort of next season with any of our own players, and we've got a good, strong squad here of players that have done us very well this season. So we need to discuss what happens with them first and foremost, and make sure that both sides are on the same page in terms of that. We're obviously looking at players because we've had 3 months to talk to agents, look at players. Have we got a key player? We've got a few that we'd like to bring into consideration. A lot will depend on what we do with our own lads. But we obviously want to strengthen an already decent squad by bringing some more players into that. How confident am I of next season? I'm as confident as I was this season. I think that our achievements this year mean nothing for next year. Next year's team will have to go and prove themselves again. And whatever league that may be in, they'll have to make sure that they don't live on the glories of this year. And this year will be what this year is. And next year, then, it all starts again. And we can't use past achievements to fuel the next season's promise. And so I'm as confident in our ability as coaches to get the best out of the team available. But again, we all start from zero, and we're probably going to earn the right to be one of the better sides in the league, whether that be in the National League or hopefully that in League Two.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I think that the thing that's worth adding is it's just so uncertain, isn't it? Because of everything that's gone on and the way the season ended for the majority of teams, both in our league, the league below, and possibly more importantly, Leagues 1 and 2. It's going to be a very uncertain time for clubs and for players, and that'll mean there's probably challenges ahead, but also with that there'll probably be some opportunities as well, and that might be in the recruitment side of things. There might be opportunities that we might not have otherwise had. So it's hard to predict, isn't it? But I think there'll be opportunities. Question number 4. Why does 80... Oh, this is a good one, this. I like this. Bit harsh, perhaps. Not sure it's an official stat either, but we'll run with it. It says, why does 85% of our throw-ins go straight to the opposition? So I know you're best placed to answer that one. So
that I actually do a lot of work on the training ground on throw-ins. Right, okay. I wouldn't say it was 85%, but I'm not here to sort of...
that's what it said there.
Yeah, I'm not here to argue that 85% is either right or wrong, because I like to think we do a lot of work on restarts and goal kicks and throw-ins. We spend a lot of time on them. Throw-ins are interesting, especially in and around their box. We feel we have a few movements that allow us to try and create a little bit of half a yard in their box. I think every football club up and down the country could be better at throw-ins. Every football club up and down the country could be better at set pieces. I've just been watching the Colchester Exeter game before, and the amount of set pieces that don't beat the first man. So I think it's something that every club can be better at, but there's only so many ways to throw a ball into play without just throwing it 2 yards and getting it back, and generally the opposition won't let you do that anyway. So we try to be quite creative in our throw-ins and our restarts to ensure we can work the ball out the other side. And it's something that we strive to be better at. And if the question says that 85% go out of play, you've now pricked my thought process to go and have a look at that. And every throw-in that comes in now, I'm going to be marking that down to see how that works, because Millys laughing here because he knows how much importance I put on restarts and how much I work on them on the training ground. So,
well, I also know the other thing I find amusing is I think probably much the same as me. I'm thinking for the analyst lads now, they're going to be doing that. That's going to be a stat they're going to be looking at. I would suggest, and again, because we've not looked into the stats closely enough, we can't say for sure, but I'd suggest that our percentages of retaining possession off throw-ins is probably greater than most in the division, because we do have an eye on what the movements are, because we know we've practiced them, so we look to do certain things and we see when they come off. So, but like you say, there are some times when we throw the line to try and get territory, get up the pitch, and it does create something of a 50-50. But yeah, I'm smiling because I think that's going to be an area the lads who do the analysis are going to be focusing on a little bit going forward, aren't they? To make sure that
that when we stop this, I'm going to be phoning the analysis lad and going, right, what I want now is this.
Anyway, so we'll keep working on it. I think that's the message, isn't it? We'll keep working on it.
But it's something we are acutely aware of, and something that we are trying to get better at.
And next time we do this, maybe the same questioner can ask the same question. What are our stats? Because we'll know by then for sure.
Yes, we certainly will, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely. On a so question number 5 we're on now. On a 3 p.m. home match day, what is your normal routine from when you get up to go into bed?
Wow. Right, okay. Well, we'll go for home game, because that's got a bit better routine on it, mate, because we have a little bit of time. I've got a 4-year-old son who's massively into his football, and when we've got a home game, that allows me to go. He goes to like a mini tots skip thing in the morning, so I like to go and watch him do his football and stand there with the other dads and be a dad, and I quite enjoy that because it just takes my mind off the game. And generally, we'll then go for a little bit of breakfast around the corner, again, just with the family. And I just like to be as normal as possible on the day of the game. Anybody that knows me, I'm probably one of the most relaxed people leading up to 2-3 o'clock going, because without a little bit of information when the teams come in, we've done our work, and all I'm doing, if I'm in the players' faces on a match day or I'm irate, that then transfers to them. I'm nervous, that transfers to them. So try and stay out of the way if I can on a Saturday. And as you've seen there, I try and just to be a dad in the morning. And generally get to the ground just after between 12 and 1, depending on where I've been. And then we generally at 1 o'clock we'll go over the last messages with the players, and I disappear really, and it's over to you, Mill, in it from there on in. I'll go in with the ref at 2 o'clock, get the teams, and then I'll put the teams up. I'll put who players should be marking. Just have a quick conversation with the players on who they're marking and some of the things they maybe need to look out for. And then the lads will go out and do the warm-up. I have tended to come out and do the warm-up, watch the warm-up and then do a back 3, back 4, just because I get bored. I'm stood inside, and if I was stood inside on my own, I'd just walk the dressing room to death like. So I have been coming out and taking the back 3, back 4, and the only reason for that is because otherwise I'd do my own heading. So, and then after the game, as Chris will tell you, I am impossible to talk to whether we've won or lost after a game. I am just emotionally drained and tired. Very new to management still, and I find it a very tiring process, that hour and a half on a Saturday. So after that, all I want to do then is go home and sit and have a break, spend some time with the family. I'll go and see friends and try and detach myself from football, because I ain't going to fix whether we've won or lost on a Saturday evening. I then start to sort of summarise the game on a Sunday when my head's had time to process what's going off. Where Milly's a nightmare, because if we played away or at home, at 5:30, Milly wants to watch the game back and wants to tell me everything that we might have possibly not done so well that day. And he normally gets a couple of expletives from me, whether we've won or lost, and leave me alone. That's basically what I would say when I make.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think that the difference with me is well, the two things. I think I can't do anything in the morning other than get to the ground as early as possible, because there's no point in me trying to do anything because my mind's on the game and wanting to get the things done at the ground as early as possible so that I can start to relax. And then after the game, if I was to try and go home or try and do anything else, I wouldn't be able to do anything other than think about the game. So I want to rewatch it, as quickly as possible. So the away games are an ideal opportunity because you're on the coach and I can generally watch it back quite quickly. But certainly, I want to get it looked at as quickly as possible so that I can sort of reflect and maybe get an idea as to whether or not the things that I remember about it are accurate or not. And I know there have been a couple of occasions this season, I think, I can't remember what the game was now, but I remember Ducky, I remember mentioning to Michael Duckworth after a game that a couple of days later, when I watched it back, actually, we were better than I expected. I thought we'd done all right. And he agreed. He thought that maybe the assessment that we'd given straight after the game was a little bit harsh. So that I need to do that because, I get caught up in measuring things against very certain indicators, and sometimes there's more to take in than just those certain points. So
we're very quiet after games, aren't we, mate? We will say very little until we've sort of gone and had a look. That's one of the learnings of this year. We'll go away and look at it and then give better assessment when we see the players next, because emotions are running high and things you see. And I'll be honest, you see a different game when you watch it back, when the emotions taken out of it and you say, oh, right, okay, that's interesting. Well, that's how we played. And fans don't have that luxury at times, but I'm sure the fans would see a different game if you got a chance to watch games back. And it's amazing what you see when the emotion's not there.
Yeah, definitely. Moving on. Question number 6. Now, this I've got to answer this one slightly sensitively, I think. When we've won the playoffs next month, the question begins. Okay. How much are you looking forward to taking the Shaman to Boundary Park next season?
Wow. Listen, if we are lucky enough to be triumphant, and there's a lot of if buts and maybes, and we've got a Boreham Wood, and that is our only focus. Hypothetically, I would love to walk back to Boundary Park and take our team back to Boundary Park because it would... it's my club, but when we went there in pre-season and we were lucky enough to come away with a 1-0 win, even though it was a friendly, I could have run up Sheafoot Lane with my hand up like Alan Shearer. But I think I'm going to leave that one there.
I think there's a few that went there. I mean, there's some great clubs in the division.
Bolton Wanderers and all them. What an achievement for our club to be back in the league, mate. That's all. It'd be a great achievement, and there'd be some fantastic grounds to go to, one of which is obviously my hometown club, which would be fantastic.
Sounds good. Question 7. Do you guys have any superstitions that you believe give you the advantage before going into a game?
I used to wear the same shirt, didn't I, mate? I had that blue shirt that I used to always wear because we always won when I wore it, but I couldn't wear it every week because then I looked like I only had one shirt. And then we got pumped a couple of times in it, and then I just give up on all superstitions after that.
Yeah, no, I don't have any superstitions really. I started to buy into some of yours at one point, but yeah.
I always used to say on the Friday on the way home for training, didn't I? If we heard the Shaman move any mountain, we win on a Saturday, because that's what happened probably for the first couple of months. Then we got beaten and it was just a load of rubbish.
Yeah, just as soon as the Shaman come on the radio, turn it off.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like this. There is an element of superstition sometimes around the final few set pieces, isn't there? When the opposition defend this one. If we defend this, we'll come out of it with a result, and that's
my favourite. That, isn't it? 85 minutes in, if we just defend this one, we'll win. Defend this one.
It's a good positive thing, making sure we defend them properly. Similar question to the one previous here. What's going to be your favourite away day next year? And they've asked Bradford or Oldham.
Well, again, there's a lot of it, but it's amazing. Listen, I love your optimism, and then I don't want to stifle your optimism in any way, shape or form, but we've still got a massive, massive, massive job to do. And then Boreham Wood is our only focus. But again, hypothetically, what some unbelievable grounds in the Valley Parade, fantastic ground. You've got Bolton's ground. You've got Oldham's ground. What a league to be in. What a league. But what an achievement if we could do so. But like I say, a long, long way to go yet.
What would you consider the best thing you've learned this season?
I think we discussed this last time in depth, but I think being brave, believing in what we want to do, not listening to the noise so much, and making sure that what we're doing, we believe is right. When we've done that this year, we've generally won, and not trying to be so shoot from the hip if things haven't gone well for 3 or 4 weeks. Just keep believing in what's right, keep working hard on the training ground, and making sure we keep being brave in what me and you, mate, believe that's right. That's probably been the biggest learning curve. And again, me as a person and controlling the emotions and controlling me as a person throughout the week and setting the right example from the top of the football club. So that's been, there's been challenges, none other than the pandemic, of trying to making sure everything's the way it should be. And there have been massive learning experiences. Do I think I'm the complete article? Nowhere near. All I keep doing is, between me and Chris, is keep working hard, keep trying our best. We will make mistakes, but they're honest mistakes. And when we've corrected them, we'll obviously make new mistakes, but that's part of life and that's part of learning. And that's one of the reasons why I'm so grateful that the chairman gave us this opportunity to make mistakes, but hopefully make less and less mistakes as the journey goes on.
Good stuff, agreed. Right, this is question 11 we're up to now. Do we still have use of the loan players for the playoffs?
Well, that's been cleared up now, isn't it? Because there was only Devante, and Devante's obviously moved on will be moving on to a club, and him and his agent informed me of that last week. I respect his decision. I understand his decision, being a free agent and having offers on the table, and doesn't want to jeopardise them. So fair play to him. Apart from that, we're a 20-man squad, and everybody that's here is signed and all trained this morning, so they're all ready to go.
Yep. Good stuff. Question 12. Which opposition player from the National League would you like to sign if you could sign any player you wanted? Which, again, I think we've touched on a bit, haven't we?
I think we touched on that before. They were players off the top of my head. Seeing as though the questions come up again, is there anybody that we've missed? Millie? Kyle Wootton, Notts County, excellent.
Not I think Featherstone at Hartlepool. I think
Featherstone, yeah.
Good career.
I think what's been interesting is, and something we probably need to do a bit better next year, is how teams in our league have used the 23s market from teams higher above. So Huddersfield, Ollie Dyson going up to Barrow. Jack Diamond from Sunderland to Harrogate has been excellent. Hutton at Yeovil. There's been under 23s is an interesting one because it's sometimes you're a little bit cautious because of the environment they've come from. But I've really opened my eyes this year to sort of the standard of U23s that are on loan in our league, and some top players. And I think that's something that we need to do better next year and utilise a lot better next year. Would you agree, mate?
Yeah, definitely. I think it is a challenge because there's always an element of risk. Unless a lad's already had a loan in the division and copes, then there's always an element of risk, isn't there? Because even lads who've been in the division below, maybe National League North, on loan and done well, it doesn't necessarily guarantee they're going to do well in our division. So there's an element of risk in it. There's a little bit of a gamble, and it's not a perfect science as yet in terms of getting under 23s in, because they can be fantastic in the under 23 game and then come into National League football and find it a real challenging environment. So it is. I think probably one of the learnings as well, just keying back to one of the earlier questions, is and it ties in with the under 23s is identifying really who are the characters who can cope with the division, maybe slightly over and above, who are the technical players who can cope with it. Because technically they can be good enough, but if the character's not there, then it's a lot more difficult for them, isn't it? Whereas the opposite can be the case. They can have a great character and maybe be left wanting a little bit technically, but still cope and still hide the deficiencies technically well enough to have an impact. But that's probably enough on that one.
Totally agree.
Question 13. Who do you think was the best team we've played on the day this season?
Well, I think Yeovil up here beat us up, basically. I thought they were strong, aggressive, and showed real quality when we played them. So I thought they were very good. I thought Notts County, you just always think they've got goals in them, Notts County. And we're probably, again, one of the better teams that we've played this year. And then there's been a couple of teams that I thought Barnet played some really attractive football. I thought Eastleigh up here played some really good stuff. But I'd probably say Yeovil. All in all, I think they've got a bit of everything. Don't get me wrong, they've got the money to back that up. And I thought they've got a bit of everything. It's closely followed by Notts County, who I think have got goals in them, basically.
Yeah, I'd agree. I had those two that I think have been the two standout teams. But I really enjoyed watching. Listen, didn't really enjoy it, but I thought Dagenham and Redbridge played well against us for 45 minutes at home.
Yeah.
I thought obviously we got the result and we played well that day, but I was really surprised at how well they were, how comfortable they were on the ball and how well they moved it. So that's another one I'd throw in. Question 14. It's your first season in charge. Are you thinking of promotion or one game at a time?
One game at a time. If you think too far ahead, you get egg on your face. Learned that quite quickly in management, in life. It's one game at a time. That's come across in this whole Q&A. I'd like to think that we are not looking anywhere past Boreham Wood. Boreham Wood is our only focus, and all our work in the next 3 to 4 weeks will be ensuring that we're the best that we can be to make sure we can nullify and exploit Boreham Wood.
Good. Will it be difficult to get the players motivated and into the mojo of the playoffs once football returns? So we know it's returned for us today. I think my sunburn is testament to that. The red face gives that away. But yeah, and I think obviously the lads have come back, and you've already mentioned they started brightly today. There's obviously. There's that excitement about being back in football and obviously having something to play for again, which is great. But where are you on that? How do you feel about their motivation?
Listen, if we have to motivate them, Mill, then they're in the wrong profession. If we can't motivate them for being 3 games away from being back in the Football League and a chance for some of them to be back playing in the Football League, or for some of them to make their debuts in the Football League, if that don't motivate them enough, we've got a problem, a massive problem. Now, don't get me wrong, as I spoke about before, they will have to find an inner drive to replace the spectators not being in the ground. But gee whiz, if you're not motivated for these next potential 6 weeks, then you've got a real problem. I think you're in the wrong profession, if I'm honest. And that's a bold statement, but that's truly how I personally feel.
Yeah, I mean, these are the times that you're in the game for, aren't they? And I think we've been quoted as saying in the past, it's, 90% of what you do in football isn't actually that glamorous. It isn't that exciting. It isn't that interesting. It's just sheer hard work, grit and determination. And then you get these moments once every so often. And this is one of those moments where it just becomes a joy to be around it, doesn't it? So, we can go into it, staff and players, just with a real excitement and enthusiasm to make the most of the opportunity. Question 16. What experiences have you learned from your last club, Oldham?
Well, we were thrown in there, weren't we, mate? It wasn't our squad. It wasn't... we basically came up with a structure of how to play and implemented that structure of how to play in an already established environment. When we first came in, we had the same system as play that had worked so well for us at Oldham, and we brought that structure across. And for the first 20 odd games, it worked, and that was good for us. it allowed us last season to become better at analysing players, and I think that's analysing players and team. I think we've got better at that coming into Halifax. I think that we learned first team men's football, didn't we? Let's be honest. We learned that at our previous club, and we learned that hard to beat is the way forward. Be hard to beat first. Stay in football matches because you can lose football matches early on, but you can't win them. So being hard to beat, staying in the game, being tough to play against, generally is a recipe for doing well as a football club, and I think we'll learn that coming into this environment. Do you agree?
Yeah, I think so. I think it really narrow focuses. You're trying to make the most of the strengths you've got within the group, but also mask as heavily as you can the deficiencies you've got, and try and cover those as strongly as you can. And I think that's true of any team really, unless you're one of the big spenders and the teams at the top end of any division who can pull in the best players because of your financial clout. Then everyone else is trying to make the most of their own strengths and hide the deficiencies as well as possible. And I think that's what we've tried to do really, and that's the way we'll always operate until the chairman gives us a massive checkbook and we can go out and just sign the best players that are out there. But
go on. That's one of our mates' big words in the big sayings. I did your deficiencies. Every team has deficiencies. And it's important that you mask them deficiencies, and the better you do that, the more success you'll have. And we were told that a long time ago, weren't we, mate? And a good friend of ours who's a manager told us that, and very, very true comment.
Yeah, absolutely. And this one is question 17, and it says, on a lighter note, what is the best box set you've watched during lockdown?
Wow, some belters, aren't there? On the spot here. I tell you what, it's not a box set, but documentary, The Last Dance, mate.
Yeah.
Me and you have been all over that. With the Chicago Bulls, Michael Jordan, The Last Dance. Wow. I've got a newfound respect for basketball. I've got a newfound respect for Michael Jordan. Obviously, growing up, knew about him, but because I didn't really like basketball, didn't really know how good he was. But what a man. What Phil Jackson, the head coach, what a head coach, how he dealt with big egos and big players, and how he got the best out of squads. Yeah, Last Dance by a mile. Loved it. I could leave this and go and sit and start it all over again and watch it again and like it as much as I liked it the first time.
Yeah, I'd agree. It's the only thing I've really watched as a sort of series or a box set through the lockdown. It's the only thing I've sort of watched religiously. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it, and like you, I could watch it again straight away. We're on to the last one here. I can't believe it's gone so quickly and so smoothly.
Yes.
This is more of a sort of statement as a question, really, and it says here, not so much a question, but please will you pass on to Pete and Chris the best of luck for the playoffs, and thanks for a great season, whatever happens. Nobody expected anything other than a relegation battle after last pre-season. So they've done a cracking job. What would you say in response to that, out of interest?
First and foremost, thank you. One thing we have tried to do, mate, is we just try to be honest and give as much as we can to the situation. We understood the predicament we were coming into. We had a similar predicament at Oldham when we went in there, so we felt confident that we were able to turn that round. And I'd like to think that not just us, mate, I think every member of our backroom staff, including the office staff, I think it's a team effort. The communication team, the secretary, the social media team, the academy. I'd like to think what we've done is he's made the club one, and made the club as one, along with the players. I can't speak highly enough of the group of players that we've got. And the biggest thing is that the people employed by the football club and you, the fans, I think we're all together within this, and I think if everybody's pulling in the same direction, it allows us to create what we've created this season. We feel it's only the start of that, and we feel we can offer more with tweaks here and there, as I spoke about in the last Q&A, and we feel we can offer more going forward. But we want to finish the job off now. We know you won't be in the grounds, but your positive chat on social media, your positive chat around the town, let's create a buzz, and let's create a buzz between us all, and let's see where that takes us. We will give you everything we've got. We're honest as the day is long. All staff, players, backroom staff, chairman, the chairman's, everything I've asked of the chairman in recent weeks, he's delivered on. And everybody's pushing in the right direction, pushing to get back to that promised land, and end that 21 years of hurt. We've just been on a call with the players, and I would just explain to the players some of the facts about the club, about last time they were in the league, when they dropped out of the league, when they went out of business, when you work back up through the leagues to be on the verge of getting back to where the club belongs. Now, there's a lot to go. There's a lot of effort to go on to get over the line now. But we can all, if we all push in the same direction, we've got a chance. So thanks for your comments. It's much appreciated, and we'll keep pushing and pushing. And if we make the odd mistake here and there, they're honest mistakes. Believe me, we're not there because we think we're trying to get carried away with ourselves, or think we're better than what we are. We know our level. We know where we're at, and all we're trying to do is do the best for your football club and do the best for the town. If we all do that, hopefully we can achieve what we want to achieve.
Well said. Well said. I like that. I think don't think there's anything more to add. But I think I can thank you for your honesty. I mean, I know you well enough to know by now you're gonna tell it like it is, and you know, in a fair and equitable way. You know what I mean? So thanks for doing that, and it's been good to ask. I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed just getting a little bit of a feel for some of the questions, and like you say, on we go to Boreham Wood. Let's see what we can do there.
100%. Listen, guys, thanks very much. Keep your eyes peeled. Keep supporting the football club, and let's see where the next few weeks takes us. And let's keep everything positive. Let's all remain positive, and let's see where it takes us. Thanks, Milly. Thanks for doing that, mate. I'll see you in the morning, pal. Bright and breezy. And we'll
bring the sun cream, like you promised.
Yeah. Back to Balaclava tomorrow morning, pal, and we'll see you then. Thanks, guys. See you soon.
Right. See you now.